Donald Trump's like, man, fuck the Constitution. I'm Donald J. Trump. I do what I want to do. And I guess that's why a lot of people voted for him.
He's trying to justify it. There's no way to justify this. What do you think about the Pope being black?
For me personally, I don't care. I can care less. I'm not Catholic.
What do you mean? Only one rapper in history had to go through 3, and the big one was with all of the rappers. Drake has always been about peace. It's these other rappers that wanted war.
How has he been about peace when he started the beef with Meek Mill?
So you think Diddy's gonna win?
I think he's gonna get off. Now, granted, that's not to say that I don't think that there was no misconduct that took place.
All right, welcome back to the Black Summit. I'm Brooks.
I'm Hendrix.
All right, we're gonna be hopping right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
Yeah, so a lot has been happening in the news, so I'm gonna run down real quick what we're gonna be talking about. Trump has been in the news because he's gonna try to accept
a jet from Qatar.
A lot of people are up in arms about this from both sides, because as you know, it is not constitutional.
Right.
To do that. Not. So we're going to be talking about that. Then we're going to be talking about the new Pope. Apparently the Pope is black. Did you hear that?
He's a brother.
He's a brother.
He's a brother.
He's a mulatto. That's how they characterized him. So
was Obama.
He's also an American. So
yeah, first American Pope, right?
Yeah. So first in history.
History.
And then we know that the Diddy trials are close to being on their way. I think they were supposed to do something today, but it may be tomorrow.
The juror selection is completed, right?
Yeah, the juror selection is completed, so we'll be talking about that. And then we'll be talking about the UMG and Drake situation. There's an update with that, so we have to just get into that briefly. But we'll see if we have time for that. If we have time.
Talk about your boo.
Then we'll get in into
Drizzy.
It. So
his boo Drizzy.
But first, we're going to talk about Trump, and you have something.
Yeah. So I got this article from NBC News. Trump administration will accept a luxury jet from Qatar to use as Air Force One. Trump is expected to discuss arrangements for the plane during his visit to Qatar this week, one source said. And I'm going to play this clip real quick.
We also mentioned this a moment ago, learning that the Trump administration is preparing to accept this luxury jet from Qatar to use as Air Force One. This is 4 sources familiar with the planning telling NBC News. Why is this happening? Why is this gift being given? And also, is it legal for the president to accept it?
The legal part of this is a big outstanding question. Democrats here over the last 24 hours calling this corrupt and unconstitutional, saying this amounts to taking a foreign bribe, that the Constitution lays out that the president, when it comes to foreign emoluments and the providing of gifts, must be authorized by Congress. But there's some pushback is there has to be the intent of bribery involved in such a gift as this. We're looking at a price tag of this Boeing that's being $300 to $400 million. And overnight, I'll just read directly from the president. He says, so the fact that the Defense Department is getting a gift free of charge of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction so bothers the crooked Democrats that they insist we pay top dollar for the plane. Of course, there's a lot of questions about this aircraft. Again, we're hitting at Qatar here. This is one of those 3 countries that the president is going to be visiting this next week. And you're talking about Air Force One that is getting up there in age. And there's been much discussion about a future new Air Force One here. But the president of the United
States. So Qatar. Now, apparently this country is supposed to support terrorists. Is that, you heard anything about that?
They support terrorists?
Well, they funded some terrorists.
Oh, okay.
Qatar, this country.
Well, they probably did. But, yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that that's constitutional for him to accept this?
It's definitely not constitutional. But then we talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's like, man, fuck the Constitution. I'm Donald J. Trump. I do what I want to do. And I guess that's why a lot of people voted for him, because he does what he want to do, regardless how it affects the American people or not. I think it's definitely unconstitutional because it looks like a bribe. And what they said, like he said the Democrats are complaining. But dude, come on, man. And they are. But think about it. If it was a Democratic president and the same thing happened, the Republicans they will be complaining too.
Yeah.
That's unconstitutional. You shouldn't be allowed to accept a bribe like that for $300-400 million. And who's to say? Someone made a point saying that he shouldn't accept it because they can, even though his cabinet, they'll sweep the plane to make sure anything. They think they may plant all kind of listen devices and tracking devices, or they may have some type of mechanism where they can explode the plane at any time or whatever. But I mean, I think it's definitely unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But are you in favor of?
No, I think this is bad. I think this is a bad decision for him to go along with this and to accept this. I hope he doesn't do it because it's a bad precedent.
You say you're gonna do it
to put forth, to be accepting gifts from other countries, and especially a country that we're involved with, and so I don't think it's a good thing to do. Here's his reasoning and what he had to say about this.
Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet. And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. We have an Air Force One that's 40 years old. And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, stature at the time, it's not even the same ballgame. And I think Qatar, who we've helped them a lot over the years in terms of security and safety. I think they, and very, very nicely, and I have a lot of respect for the leadership and for the leader, Qatar. And I think they knew about it because they buy Boeings. They buy a lot of Boeings. And they knew about it. And they said, we would like to do something. And if we can get a 747 as a contribution to our Defense Department, to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones.
But yeah, anyway, so he's trying to justify it. There's
course.
no way to justify this. This to me is blatant corruption if he goes along with this and really skirting around the law. I mean, trying to find a roundabout way. Oh, they're giving it to the Pentagon, not to me.
For a couple of years. And
then he was talking about how he wants to take it and make it a part of his presidential library. And so it's like, come on.
My gosh.
Come on. Let's call this out. I mean, Trump is on another one with this thing. And, I don't know why he does this, why he does these things, because, I think he's just always in his own way. Even when he does something good, he has to do something to mess it up. You know what I mean? And not a lot of people can say that he does things that are good, right? Because, because of the way that politics are, they're so divisive, right? But again, I'm always going to be objective, and there's no spinning this one. There's no way you can spin this one. And so he's trying to justify it. He's not doing a very good job at it.
Yeah.
And so, it's just interesting.
It is, man. He makes everything about him.
Yeah.
Everything is about... When they say, he's a classic textbook narcissist. Everything is about him. He is trying to justify it. If that's the case, then why can't America get a Boeing and modify it, contract it out to modify it? So why you got to let Qatar do it? Look like Qatar doing the same thing America could do. I mean, hell, you fired all the people with the Doge, so you saved some money. I didn't even know that they even needed another Air Force One. Nobody never said there was nothing wrong with that one. I mean, I guess when he come in, he wants a new plane for his administration. He want everything shiny and brand new. But I guess he got some, definitely on the Democratic side. I guess he got some pushback on the Republican side, but there ain't gonna be much pushback on the Republican side because he doesn't use Congress. Administration is And I'm like, why are y'all surprised? It's going to be even more antics. It's almost like a dictatorship. But, and one time he said in his last administration, he said that he didn't swear to uphold the Constitution. So how can you actually be president?
Expect him to.
Expect him to be presidential. When you did, you swear your hand on the Bible, and you swear to protect the Constitution. But yet he says he's not. You know what, man? It ain't even about Trump. It's about the American people who voted him back in. That's what it's about. It's about y'all who voted him back in. Because Trump is who he is. It's y'all, man, who voted him in at this point, pretty much.
Yeah. What did you think? So Trump, he's been in the news for a lot of different things. There's talks of peace between Russia and Ukraine. There's been a lot of different things. He just did this executive order, basically slashing the prices of medicine, but also like the pharmaceutical drugs that you can get and stuff like that. What did you think of that happening?
I think if that is true, because I didn't know nothing about that. I heard about who's the president of Ukraine? He wants to have a sit down with Putin.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
That's the talks of peace.
Yeah.
Possibly happening this week.
So is Trump the reason for that? Of course, he's going to take credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to take credit for it, of course. And then anything bad is Biden's economy, which we know half of that is BS. But anything good is his economy. Even when the stock market's collapsing, he still blamed that on Biden. So he got nothing to do with the tariffs. But I think that's a good thing that Ukraine, and regardless if he had something to do with it or not, but it seemed like it's more so on the president of Ukraine wanting to sit down with Putin. Like he's pushing that forward more so than Trump. Because remember, Trump already blamed the president of Ukraine for the war. Because his allegiance is with Putin. So that which he gonna take credit for. That in itself, I think that's good on their behalf that they want to sit down and talk.
Let me ask you this, because I think you're making a good point that a lot of people are making that point. They're saying Trump's going to try to take credit for if there is a peace deal.
Of course.
But for just plain devil's advocate, as a person who's looking at it from the outside perspective, what has changed between Putin and Ukraine in this war? Has anything changed that they're coming to sit down?
Are they actually?
There's only one thing that's changed, and what is that?
They're not still attacking each other or something like that?
No, they've still been fighting. They've still been going. What's the difference though?
That Trump came into the equation?
Trump came into the equation. I mean, before with Biden, there wasn't no talks.
Right, because Biden was back in Ukraine and he wasn't talking with Putin.
Exactly. Putin literally hasn't talked to Zelensky in like 2 or 3 years.
Zelensky, that's his name.
So what's the difference? The difference is Trump's there. Now, that's kind of like the other argument to that.
True.
But yeah, I mean, like, Trump it's not cool for him to take credit for everything, right? And like you said, he only takes credit when things are going well.
Right.
When things are going bad. He even said that inside of his interview with Kristen Welker, which is just, another thing that Trump does. He always says some crazy behavior. But yeah, it's like, if it goes good, then I think it's my economy. But if it goes bad, it's Biden's.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. So back to the pharmaceutical thing. A lot of people are bringing up the fact that Biden, he was the one who started to slash prices of stuff like insulin and other things like medication that people have to pay for in the day-to-day lives. And so a lot of people were saying that Biden kind of started this. And even though Trump's doing it now, it's like, Biden already did it. What do you think about people saying that?
Just because Biden started, you can still give, and I'll be fair where fair is due, you can still give Trump credit. It don't matter who started it. Because think about it. Even though Biden started, he can easily stop it. Look what he's doing with student loans. So they still going after people and taking your tax returns if you haven't if you're delinquent with student loans. So
if you haven't paid.
yeah. So I think it's still a good thing that he has, still slashing prices on medication, because one of the biggest money grabs in government is the pharmaceutical company, of course, the NRA, right? Two of the biggest money grabs. And you know how the pharmaceutical is regulated, they kind of get away with whatever. They got lobbyists, they got big bank. That's why we don't have reputable healthcare reform passed in America, because of that. That's the only reason why we don't have any form of decent healthcare here in this country. We're supposed to be the free world. We should have free medical. I'm thankful that I don't have to take any type of medication. I just do supplements here and there. But that's for my own accord. But I think that's a good thing that he is slashing for those, because I have found you. I'm sure you have found. I have found to take medication. Now, granted, the medication is not helping them, which I see firsthand. But they taking the medication. I think they should go the supplement route, or some people should go more the holistic route and try to exercise and get proper rest and change your diet. I think that's better than synthetic drugs.
Yeah.
That they extract from plants anyway, where you can get the actual plant through a supplement and get more of the mineral and vitamins that you need. So, but yeah, I think it's a good thing. It don't matter if Biden started it, that he's finishing it. I think, and if Trump does something good that I agree with, I can honestly call him. I can admit that. You know what I'm saying?
Which a lot of people can't do.
A lot of people
and
can't,
that's
yeah.
why people say that a lot of people have, Trump derangement syndrome, which is TDS.
Which I believe that. Because Biden did some effed up stuff too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The George Floyd Act, he didn't get everybody, you know what I'm saying? They
never passed that.
Yeah, they never passed it. And then Congress. I'm like, well, damn, Trump don't give a damn about Congress. Trump make
right,
you
but you
know,
don't want him acting like
that's
Trump
true.
does.
You don't, right?
So,
and I admit that.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Trump, right? And I'm not saying it's right, but you got to give Trump some credit. For not the people, the working class or the poor people that he promised, grocery prices is going to go down, because obviously that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But his core base, all the millionaires and billionaires who help him get him in office, he doing whatever it takes for them. He didn't give a damn what anybody else think, right?
Yeah.
Democrats' core base is the working class people, not the 1% or the billionaires. That's how you need to be. You need to don't give a damn about anybody else. Do whatever it takes for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say that I feel like more of the working class voted for the Republicans this time.
This time?
Yeah.
Could be.
Let's be honest about that, because, I think, a lot of those people are like in the middle. Mm-hmm. And who did that go to? The independents and all that went to Trump, because they feel like the Democratic Party, doesn't really speak for them anymore. And that's why somebody like a Bernie Sanders is going to need to come in order for them to, get back to.
But they won't get behind him. They figure he's too far radical left.
They won't that's true, but he's at least fighting for the people. Let's talk one last thing about Trump.
Tariffs.
He did a deal with China, basically slashing the 145% tariffs that he had on them down to 30%. In China, I think they were at like 115 reciprocal tariffs, and they took their reciprocal tariffs down to 10%. What do you think about that deal being done? So the stock markets are going crazy right now. I mean, they're going up, and people are projecting it could go up over 3%. What do you think about that?
Only thing I care about is how it affects the American economy. Yeah. That's the only thing. I'm sure that's anybody else.
It's good for the economy right now.
Anybody else, I know some of you guys are iPhone advocates, that y'all pay extra for your iPhone, because iPhones come from China, right? Mm-hmm. I know Samsung is Japan. I don't hear about a tariff war with Japan. Mm-hmm. But only thing I care about is how it affects the economy, how the economy is going to look. It will help start. I seen some of my crypto and some of my stocks did a little better, even though I'm not where I want to be or where I should be. But But if that increases, I think that's a good thing. Did you notice any type of extra prices on any goods coming in?
No, because what people don't understand is that like it takes a while for this stuff to come into effect. But when it happens, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah, because I know
You know.
China even cut back on some American goods too.
Yeah.
Did Canada do the same thing? I think Canada did the same thing as
Yeah,
well at one point.
Yeah, I think they did.
So that pretty much, I guess the people who feel it first is the business owners and the businesses who feel it first.
Yeah, this is from CNBC. Dow Jones jumps more than 1,000 points, 1,100 points, and
It's a good thing.
the S&P 500 rose 3%. But I think I kind of agree with the thought process of this isn't really a win for anybody. If anything, it's more of a win for China to me because, even though we have a 20%, advantage, right? Because we're at 30, they're at 10. I just think that that's not what we were trying to get to. We're trying to get to a place where, China, it's more fair, and, China has more of we have more of a deficit on China so that they're paying more than what we're paying. And it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that was a win. Now, this is a pause for 90 days, but, it doesn't feel like it's a win for America. Even though the stock markets are more optimistic about the future, right? But I don't know what this means really. Maybe I need to research it more. But to me, this feels like an L. Now if they had said, "Hey, China brought their stuff down to zero completely, and like America, ours stayed at 100%," then I'd be like, "Yeah, that's a W." Because then it kind of goes into what he was talking about he was going to do, which is like make China pay a bunch and we gain tons of money from, the tariffs. And so for me, this sounds like an L.
That ain't going to happen because I can't say that. I get what you're saying, that he didn't want to do these things. These things that Trump spews out that he wants to do, and I'll even go back a little bit far as building the wall. It's the same thing. Yeah, we're gonna build a wall, right? No, notice he didn't run on that this time. He talked nothing but no wall. How are we gonna fund this? Mexico's gonna do it. How are they gonna do it? I'm gonna tell them they got to do it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, man.
Yeah.
And which I knew these things wasn't going to happen the way they say these going to happen. But like you saying, reason why you feel like it's an L, and I get that, but you got to realize, you know how much exports we get from China? We don't really import them hardly anything. A lot of things, even I saw a video, all the Make America Great Again hats, all the Trump signs, they show the factories in China where these things are being made.
Yeah.
The man, all y'all Make America Great Again, y'all red hats, look in the inside. They made in China. So I already knew that wasn't going to happen. We don't really manufacture stuff here because it costs too much, as they put it. But at the same time, the big corporations, the CEOs, they don't want to make it here because that's less money out their pocket. Granted, they still live good and eat good, but they gotta pay the American people a fair wage because the cost of living keeps going up here. They don't want to do that. They rather ship the jobs over to China and pay these people maybe like $7 a day to do that, and then turn around and do a 300% markup on these items that y'all love to flash on Instagram that only cost them $10 to make over there, and they turn around and you buying it for $300, $400, $500. I mean, yeah, we all guilty of that sometimes because we want to look good and be fly, but really at the end of the day, that's how the e-commerce works. That's how it works. That's the elasticity of supply and demand. That's all BS, man. I know.
So what you're saying is that Trump is one of those people who, again and again, has proven that what he says he's going to do doesn't really happen.
No.
And it's actually a much smaller deal
Yeah.
than what he...
And not to even throw a dig at Trump, right? But he is the man on the pulpit right now, right? Even any president, Obama, Biden, everybody said we want to do this, we want to do that. And granted, they may do some remnants of that at some point, or maybe not even do it at all, right? So no one ever fully does what they say they want to be, because if you're trying to be bipartisan, which Trump was not trying to be bipartisan, I use Obama and I use Biden for example. George Floyd Policing Act, it didn't even happen. He ran on that, that's what he wanted to do. He did some student loan forgiveness, but not all. Obama main thing was, which they nicknamed it the Obamacare, which is really the Affordable Care Act, right? Mm-hmm. So he did that, but it wasn't to the full potential of what it could be. Yeah, it helped some people, but then some people said that they got penalized when they didn't have insurance. Me being a veteran, like I didn't have to go through that, right? So some people didn't like it. And even Obama admit that, yeah, we passed this health care, but is it perfect? No, it'll need time to work through the system and to get to where it need to be, right? But then Trump got in office and he demolished all that. And then ran on, we're going to do something better than Obamacare. I remember verbatim, it'll come out maybe we probably announcing it within the next month. Who knows, it might even be within a week. And they asked him about it and he had nothing. He literally had nothing. They run on open, vague promises that they know they're not going to fulfill.
And then they don't deliver. That's what happens.
So where we at now?
All right, we're moving on to the Pope.
The brother.
Pope Leo, as you know, he is the new Pope. First American Pope. He's from Chicago.
South Side?
And I think he's a White Sox fan, right? And so there's been a lot of facts coming out about him, like the fact that he retweeted something by Kanye, one of his songs, and stuff like that. So he's a Kanye fan.
I hope when the last song you made.
Yeah, I don't know. No, it wasn't that. This was when he was doing his whole Jesus.
Jesus
Walk. King album and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
A lot of people over the weekend, they've been kind of, looking into the Pope, and they've actually found out an interesting fact about him. And I have this clip here that I'm going to play, and we'll talk about it.
All right.
And this story right here is fascinating. Records show that Pope Leo also has Black family roots in New Orleans. ABC News uncovered U.S. Census records from the early 1900s that shows the first American Pope's family tree. Both of his maternal grandparents identified themselves as Black or mulatto in several census documents. His two aunts also identified as Black. On their marriage license, his grandfather listed his birthplace as Haiti. However, his birth records show he was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. The birth records of the Pope's grandmother show she was born in New Orleans. However, in 1920, after the family migrated to Chicago, they marked down their race as white.
All right.
Doesn't surprise me.
Well, what do you think about the Pope being Black?
Honestly,
apparently having Black roots, his grandmother.
If they never digged into his background, honestly, looking at him, I thought he was white. I thought he was from Italy or someplace or wherever, I didn't realize he was from Chicago. I thought he was white, but it doesn't surprise me that they put white on that paper. Honestly, hey, it's all good, but me personally, I don't care. I can care less. I'm not Catholic.
What do you mean?
I've never followed none of the Pope or none of that stuff like that.
Why?
But I do know one thing: when they be in Rome and Vatican, when they bow, I seen pictures, when they bow down and pray, they pray to a Black Madonna and a Black Yeshua, aka Jesus, as y'all call him. All the images are Black. I promise you that, and you can look that up and look into the archives. That's what I know.
Why don't you care about the Pope, man? It's like, that's a good.
It's the same way if they talk about, it's something good, but I don't care. I can care less.
Okay.
It's the same way like in oh, the Queen of England or whatever.
Okay, now that I can get because it has nothing to do with us, really.
the Pope ain't got nothing to do with me either. What I got to do with me? That ain't got nothing to do with me.
But you're sort of religious, right? Aren't you?
I'm not Catholic.
You're not Catholic.
I'm not religious.
But, this is about like God and
Yeah. But they worship totally different.
I know.
Than I
but
worship.
I mean, it's
No, I mean,
to not care about it at all.
I don't care about it. I don't feel a way as of I hate it or I like it. It is what it is.
So let me ask you this: so if you had an opportunity to go and meet the Pope,
would I meet the Pope?
Yeah, would you meet the Pope?
No.
Dang, this guy.
Why would I? I mean,
oh.
Well, let me put it like this. Well, like they say, hey, yeah, come and meet the Pope. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. I mean, what? Why? I mean, dude,
listen, he's a black man. You're not gonna go see him?
No, he's white. Falls on paper. He's white. I know plenty of black people.
Okay.
Plenty black parishioners. So I mean,
he's mulatto.
He on paper he white. He put white on paper.
Yeah.
So imagine. Think about this now. Mm-hmm. If they didn't dig this up, he probably would never come out and say, "Oh yeah, I come from Milan." He probably wouldn't say a thing.
People were making fun because they were like, "Well, you guys are gonna get him fired."
I know, right?
Say that he's a black pope.
Now he could go down as the worst pope in history of popeism, if that is even a thing. There was a black. One time I remember there was another black guy who was I guess high priest Catholic, right? That's what they know him. And they were saying that if he would have got it, there was like some years back, he would have been the first black pope. Well, obviously he didn't get it.
Yeah, there were some popes who were in the race that were
in
kind
the running,
of,
right?
in the running that were. But I mean, our pope he's passing. But yeah,
no, he's not. So they do like a white smoke, right? If they reach a verdict or whatever, a deliberation, I should say, come to a consensus. Then they do a black smoke if they haven't, right? Mm-hmm. So if they nominate a black pope, would they just do the black smoke regardless? Or would they still blow the white smoke?
For the black people.
See, dude, and I never even know they do that because I don't pay attention to none of that stuff. I'm not Catholic, Roman Catholic.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing that's interesting to me. I've only, I was born in the 90s. And I feel like we've gone through like 10 popes. Like, this is another pope? Like,
this other one died.
This is crazy. I mean, yeah, I know they're older and they die, but it's just like, dang, I done been through so many popes.
But you know why?
And I haven't been alive that long.
It seems like, but think about it, and I could be wrong, you Catholic people don't want to offend nobody, but it looks like to me, every time you nominate a pope, it's another old person.
Yeah.
It's never a young, it always seems like you got to be a person about 70 or whatever, and they sit around for about 10 years or 12 years or something like that.
Yeah, right before
every pope you see, that one pope when I was younger, the one old, he just sit in chair, the old looking dude. All of them were old white men.
Yeah.
So
now we got our first black.
Can it ever be a woman?
I don't know. It's so
that's interesting.
There's been some women who there's like groups of women who have tried to like just sit in on what's going on and they're not letting them.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Because the only, I'm sure there have been others, but only the one woman who was in such high regard as a pope was like, what is it, Mother Teresa, right?
Oh, okay. Was she?
And when she died and they still had her or something like that or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know anything. All I know is they do Hail Marys and confessionals and they do their communion every Sunday. And every time you see a movie dealing with the exorcism or demon, it's always a Catholic church. It's always a Catholic church. You notice that?
Yeah.
Or the statue of Jesus crying. It's always a Catholic church.
Well, they used to do allegedly, like they did the exorcisms and stuff like that. So
but you know what they're saying? That's the first church.
Yeah.
That's where they came out of.
Yeah. So
the Vatican's.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I think it's an interesting
you
fact
would go
that
meet the
he's.
Pope?
Yeah, I would. Why not? I
mean, I'm not against it, but
first of all, I get to go overseas. See different cultures and different things.
You mean he can't rule from South Side of Chicago? He got to go overseas. Now, see, I would turn it down if that was me.
I wonder if he's ever going to come back to America now.
So he got to live in? Were he in Rome, in Italy, or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's where they reside. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going. I love Italian food, but see, you got to realize too, man, with the whole crusade and all that stuff, they wiped out. They caused the Israelites people, my people, they caused them to flee. You see what I'm saying, with all that stuff. So that's what I'm saying.
With the Roman Empire.
With the Roman Empire, yeah.
Okay.
They took over, Israel and stuff like that, and they caused them to flee out and and subjugate the people and things like that. So, I was like, I don't hate nobody, but I mean, it doesn't make me none either way or something like that. So
Yeah.
but I love Italian food and red wine. I really do.
Well, there you go. This man said he's never going to go see the Pope, and
I
he
doubt
doesn't
the Pope
care
would wanna see
what
me.
the Pope is doing.
I would meet him, but I don't
Man,
care. He
you're a
doesn't do anything
heathen.
for me.
No, I'm just
Doesn't
kidding.
do- Yeah, I am.
This man's a heathen.
Does the Pope do anything for you?
You're a Philistine. Does the Pope do anything for me?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good to have a stage for people who believe, and no matter what their denomination is, I think that I think it's a great moment for people to recognize, God and things of that nature. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to come to faith because
You think
of
so?
him and what he's doing. And so I think it's interesting.
To be honest with you, I don't think you need another man on this earth to recognize God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't. God is all being. God is what put you here. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily need another man to recognize God. And with them, you got to go to them for confession. You got to confess your sins to them, and they go on your behalf.
I'm not even getting
That's
into
not-
their denomination. I just think that at a time when it seems like people are turning away from the faith,
You think so?
no matter what you believe in, at a time where there's so many things going on in the world, and people are really hurting and searching for something, and so I think something like this is interesting. Whenever you have the opportunity, not to go too deep because
you don't
I
gotta
feel
go
like we're
deep.
already going too deep into this, but
I don't think people turn from the faith. I think people have some distorted faith because they're getting so much internet and so much messages from different places. Go to the source for yourself. Open the book and read it for yourself.
but I mean, you never underestimate what can lead you there.
True.
what I mean?
Find out what
And
it means
so,
to you.
God does use people and things
Of course.
in order to bring people to the faith, and so
So
I think that I think it's interesting. But
you're Catholic, right?
no, I'm not Catholic.
You know?
That's what I said. I'm not getting into the denomination.
I thought you were Catholic.
That's what I said.
Thought you were
All
Catholic.
right, let's move on. Let's go from
Oh Lord.
Christian stuff to the devil. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go to Diddy. Diddy has been in the news. His trials, his trials are coming up. They actually reached. They've picked a jury.
Finalize the jury.
They finalized a jury, and I have this video. It'll explain everything for us.
More breaking news. A jury has finally been selected and opening statements are getting started in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. Prosecutors are expected to paint Combs as the head of a criminal organization who exploited his fame and fortune to sexually abuse women and men. Defense attorneys plan to counter by saying Combs was not acting illegally and all relationships were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy is outside the courthouse, and managing partner at Blueprint Trial Consulting, Eric Rudich, is also here with some analysis. So, Rena, what do we know about this jury, and what do we expect to see today from Combs and his attorneys?
Right, Diane. We know that 8 men and 4 women have been selected for this jury. We know that 5 of them are from Manhattan, 4 of them from Westchester, and 3 are from the Bronx. One man is a 69-year-old massage therapist and actor. One woman is a 30-year-old deli clerk in the Bronx who says she doesn't watch the news. And the defense did accuse federal prosecutors of bias, since most of their strikes from this jury pool were black prospective jurors. But prosecutors say that they had good reason, neutral reasons for their strikes, and the judge rejected the defense's request. As you said, opening statements are expected to begin any moment now. And Combs has been in court every single day. He's here again today. He appeared to eye some of the jurors as they made their way to the jury box. But
all right, well, there you have it.
I know
I think it's interesting that they said 8 men and only 4 women. Yeah.
Because you're gonna want.
But that's a lot of men.
It is.
As opposed to women.
But yeah, you know why? You being strategic when you selecting a jury. You know, remember back in the days, you go to trial by a jury of your peers. For us, at one time, a long time ago, it was a jury of all white people. We was automatically convicted no matter what. So now they kind of want to make it kind of fair. So your attorneys will get people less biased against you and more basis. So of course they had more men. He's on trial for sexual misconduct, right? Meaning they say men and women, but of course predominantly women. Every man, not saying misconduct with women, but they know about sexual deviance with women. You know what I mean? So that's the bias, not bias, well, somewhat bias of having more men than more women. But I know it's hard to pick that jury because everybody know who Diddy is. Everyone knows who Sean Combs is.
Come on now.
Some people are going to be lying. I see why they got the older man who's a massage therapist. But you still know who to do. You may not listen to his music. You know who he is. You know,
it's Diddy.
I don't think they're going to for the simple fact where they said all that stuff was consensual. Nobody was underage. Now, granted, was it misconduct? I'm not going to say there is or there wasn't.
So you think Diddy's going to win?
I think he's going to get off. Now, granted, let me tell you. That's not to say that I don't think that there was no misconduct that took place.
Okay.
It's going to be hard to prove when you have everyone who's an adult.
Okay.
And a lot of people were with it. Some people, now I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people are with it.
I don't know if you want to say that on here.
It's
I don't know if you want to say that.
Facts,
You're saying
man.
a lot of people weren't, or a lot of people were with it.
A lot of people were with the free, and then some people say, yeah, we went to the parties, but we never saw nothing like this or what they're claiming. Then you got a lot of false allegations of a lot of these celebrities. They coming, lawyers not doing due diligence and claiming these sexual, misconduct on a lot of these celebrities, and kind of find out these things are false. These things are ambulance chasers, money grabs. So you got to weed all that too. I don't think they're going to really get him on no sexual misconduct. I'm just being anything possible. I don't think so because R. Kelly beat it a few times and then had to finally come double back on him and get him later on down the line. I don't think it's going to stick. The only thing I think they could have probably get him on if they were to pursue, which I had it pursuing, is any type of drug trafficking. Now that is in itself, you know what I'm saying? If they got evidence and proof of that, the sexual misconduct, I think that's going to be kind of hard to stick. Because what he just said, they were all adults and they were all consenting. I'm pretty sure some people he got NDAs on.
Yeah, this is just what his defense attorneys are saying.
And that's what they're going to argue.
I'm going to say this right now. I think that's preposterous what you just said. He's going to go down, okay? The evidence is there, okay? Little Rod, again, he had some of the most clear evidence there. And there are multiple people, not just Little Rod. There's multiple women who have
other
evidence.
Statements.
Little Rod gave so much evidence. I can't remember exactly because it's been like a year since I've looked at it. Video. He had like actual memorabilia and different things from the stuff that happened. Mm-hmm. You need to go look back at that case.
And Lil Rod showed up to Diddy's house.
There's no way that they're going to let Diddy off.
If you're going to do beef for a man and he in the shower,
let's be honest.
That's consent. And you know this man in the shower, that's consent.
What it is that y'all love Diddy. Y'all love him. Pause. No Diddy. Y'all love Diddy. And y'all cannot come to the realization that this man was doing bad things.
I'm not saying he wasn't.
You know what's funny is that right now they're just getting him on this SA stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. There were things that he was doing that allegedly he did. We haven't even gotten to Biggie and all that other stuff.
Biggie?
We talking about
say he sexual misconduct with Biggie?
No, I'm not saying that.
Now Al B. Shore is saying something.
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the killing. Allegedly.
Okay.
Come on now. Come on now.
But he's not on trial. I get what you're saying. He's not on trial for that. He's not on trial for that. But I do know what you.
You must have been a huge fan of Diddy back in the day.
No. Dude, look, I'm just being optimistic. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're saying he should go down because all this stuff has happened.
I mean,
that might be the case. I'm not saying he didn't do nothing but the freak off and this and that and the third. I'm not saying everybody was wrong, but I just think it's going to be hard to make that. I think if anything happened, they might get him in a civil court. He had to kick out a lot of money. He could be back out on these streets. Tell me, take that. So
to our audience, once again, I will have to be proven right again. And remember this moment, because over and over and over again throughout this whole entire process with Diddy, I've been right. And I will be right again. They're going to get him. His time is up. I mean, listen, I do think it's a little bit weird behind the scenes, the way that all of this came about. And the timing was weird because there were multiple people who Diddy was going up against at the time, very powerful people who he had sued. And it was just a little bit suspicious with the timing. But, Diddy's going down and people need to prepare for it and people need to learn from this. I hate to see these black men go down, but, people like Diddy, they actually did this stuff. And so that's,
Will you think his
allegedly?
Will you think his sentence will be once you believe that he does go down?
It might be similar to R. Kelly, honestly. We'll see.
How long does R. Kelly have? Like
I don't know how long. I don't know how long R. Kelly's in there. But it's gonna be a while for him.
I don't know, man. I just don't. I think it's gonna be hard to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, granted, you said Low Rod has plenty evidence, and a lot of things come out. Some things could be true. I think some people are trying to do some things to grab some money.
R. Kelly's in there for 30 years.
30 years? Okay. So, I don't know, man.
R. Kelly's in there forever.
Really?
They said in addition to the 30 years, he has 20.
Ooh, Lord have mercy.
In Chicago for something.
Man.
So he's going to be gone forever.
But I heard a part of Diddy's defense attorney, he has a woman on a team who was she was a victim of sexual misconduct, right?
Okay.
And from they using her, and I guess they say because she can spot and know, I guess supposed to know, like, when cross-examining who's telling the truth, and because she's been in those shoes herself. And so I guess that's part of this defense, is showing her, look, if I did these things, why would I have someone who was a victim of sexual misconduct on my defense attorney? Now, that's not to say, allegedly, I'm not saying that he's 100% innocent, because I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't the freak off it. We all going to say allegedly. I just think it's going to be hard to make a lot of this stuff stick, because he didn't want no plea deal. He wanted to go straight to trial. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Well, I guess we'll find out. We'll see what happens with Diddy. Again, hate to see it. Because he was a star, and I think that's clouding people's judgment on him, and so
that's why it was hard to select the juror. Because of those reasons. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. All right, getting into our last subject, the boy Drake. There's been an update with him and UMG. We got to talk about this. Here's a video.
Well, goofy alert. Seems
maybe.
Like Drake wasn't lying
Hold
about
on.
Universal.
He is the one that threw.
Well, goofy alert. Seems like Drake wasn't lying about Universal. They did indeed have something to hide. Don't scroll, let me explain. Stay with me. If you guys remember, people were clowning Drake for suing Universal, saying that he's only suing Universal because he's mad he lost against Kendrick. Well, that was far from the truth. Not only did the judge side with Drake, but now Universal is so scared, they told the judge, hey, he can look through the documents, but can we keep it out of the public's eyes? As in, can you make it confidential that he will not tell nobody anything that he's seen, that anything further going in court will be strictly between us? Remember, the accusations are not only did UMG artificially boost Kendrick's song so that it will blow up more, And did payola paying on radio stations secretly to keep blasting the music on repeat in order to paint Drake out to be a ped so that his value lowers so they wouldn't have to pay him his $200 million contract? And that allegedly they might have been the moles that was feeding Kendrick information to help him win in the beef against Drake, knowing when songs finna drop, knowing what he finna say, etc. That's like you and your cousin beefing and your uncle feeding your cousin information on how to set you up and how to make you go down. Yeah, it's not looking too good for Universal Music Group right now.
All right, that was from Freak. Hold on, I want to listen to this real quick. I may cut this out, but this is another video. This is Joe Budden.
He is the one that throughout multiple songs was telling you for years about why he could never go independent. He was the one for years telling you how great of a relationship that he had with Lucien and Universal. He has thrown his status in every artist's face.
That's true.
To say, I am in a different position.
Yeah.
The game is the game, and no, you are not. There is nobody that we've seen or that I can think of that has proved to ever be bigger than the system.
Boom. That's what Joe Budden had to say.
See, Drake being bigger than the system. That first dude, that sounded like a bit of conspiracy theories.
No, that's real. What are you talking about? That's real. Listen, y'all don't want to say it because y'all came in here, y'all talked all your smack about how Drake, this is a bad move for him to go up against them, and he lost the rap beef, and now he's crying to everybody. It's like, no, he proved y'all wrong. Y'all been proven wrong, and guess what? He's gonna win this lawsuit. Get ready. He's gonna win it. I know. I keep saying it.
Okay, the lawsuit in itself, right?
UMG just admitted that they basically did what they.
But hold on.
But they want to keep it out of the public's eye because they want to keep this thing going with Kendrick looking like he was the hero and all of this other stuff.
You don't think Drake lost the rap beef?
No, I don't think Drake lost the rap beef.
Kendrick lost the rap beef.
Even though in the public eye, they think that he lost it. In the public's eye, he definitely lost the battle, right? But Drake's winning the war in the public.
So you say
in the public's eye, he's winning the war. I'm saying personally. I don't think there's no way that you can tell me that he lost that rap beef. But, me just looking at all the songs and comparing his songs versus Kendrick's songs. Kendrick had some good ones, but to say that he beat Drake in that rap battle, no.
But overall, right?
Okay.
If you do a beef with someone, you put it out publicly. Don't public opinion is the judge.
I know that's what people are going to say, but
no. Not only what they say, but is that not the case?
This was a unique situation.
Oh my.
Okay. This is another reason why Drake's the greatest is because you have had so many people. How many rap beefs did Jay-Z have to go through?
He only went to one.
Okay. How many rap beefs did Tupac had to go through? One.
Yeah, but no.
All of these rappers, how many did Kendrick have to go through? No. Just answer the question. How many rap beefs did Kendrick have to go through? How many rap beefs did Kendrick have to go through? Answer the question. Yes or no? How many?
No.
One.
You're wrong, but
now we come back to this. Hold on. Now we come back to this. Drake has had to go through, count them, not one, not two, but three. And the third one, he was going up against the whole entire industry, and he was going up against UMG. So he had to go through all these rap battles. That's how you're the GOAT.
The label that he signed.
Only one rapper in history had to go through three. And the big one was with all of the rappers, the whole entire industry, and Lucien, UMG, all these people. That's how you know you to go. And y'all know I'm saying the stuff right. You know I'm telling the truth.
Three rap beef. Of course, Kendrick. That Drake started.
Come on now. You already know
Drake started.
Look, he's trying to act like he don't know.
Meek Mill.
Okay.
Drake started that one.
All right. No, please.
And then Pusha T.
Please.
Pusha T, which Drake, I mean, he got washed in that beef. He got demolished in the Kendrick beef.
Drake has always been about peace. It's these other rappers that wanted war.
How's he been about peace when he started the beef with Meek Mill?
Sometimes
he started the beef with Meek Mill.
In public opinion, you may lose the battle. But he's winning the war.
I think you got on rose.
And you know it's true.
I think you got on rose tinted glasses.
When he wins
when
he wins this UMG,
are so
when he wins this UMG rap battle,
you think you know Drake personally, but you do.
When
not
he wins
know
this
Drake
lawsuit,
personally.
when he wins this lawsuit with UMG, I want to see where y'all at because he really has won this. Let's be honest, he's gonna win. And UMG just confirmed it. They're like, please don't tell people that we lied.
You know what's so crazy?
Please don't tell people that we lied about Kendrick.
Had the shoe been on the other foot and
Please
he was
don't tell
getting
people.
blasted out there, he wouldn't been suing UMG.
The thing is
He
that
wouldn't even
when
suing
you're a
UMG.
GOAT, everybody comes up against
He
you.
wouldn't even been suing UMG.
3 rap beefs.
Had the shoe was on the other foot, Drake wouldn't
Name
be
me another
suing
rapper that had
UMG.
to go through 3 rap beefs.
He wouldn't have been
You can't
suing
name it.
UMG.
That's how you know you the GOAT.
He wouldn't have been suing UMG. And then anyway, with that Tupac one,
Okay, go
Biggie
ahead.
didn't respond to him.
Educate me on this.
Tupac had the rap beat, and then it turned to an East Coast, West Coast thing, but he didn't.
But it's a rap beef. Come on.
Yeah, he had a beef.
What you
but
trying
it
to say,
wasn't
though?
a rap beef if nobody don't respond.
But that wasn't my question. My question
He didn't
was.
respond,
My question was, how many rap beefs did Tupac have to go through?
There was a
Okay.
There was a beef, but
But
how
all
you
you're
gonna
doing
be a
is
beef and
proving my
nobody don't
point.
respond back to you?
Okay,
They respond
all
back.
right.
But see, he beat Meek Mill in that rap beef.
How many rap beefs did Eminem have to go through? Yeah.
Eminem had a lot. Because a lot of people came at Eminem.
I mean, the only
Even-
thing I can
even
think
your
of
boy
is
is who?
the girl. What's her name?
Who?
Light skinned woman who sings. I can't think of her name right now.
Mariah Carey?
Yeah, Mariah Carey. That's the
No,
only
he
beef
had
I
a
can think
beef
of.
with
But
your
go ahead.
boy from who's was part owning the Sauce. Oh Lord, what they keep Benzino. They call him.
Oh, but
dude with
that's
no
come
name.
on now.
But no, that was a
Benzino
little
ain't
beef
nobody.
thing. But that was an actual.
He's a nobody.
That was an actual beef thing right there too.
The guy
I mean,
on the
some
reality
other people.
TV show stuff.
But he was rapping before that.
I know. I know.
That's
he was
probably
a
before
rapper.
you was born.
It's love and hip hop.
Yeah. You,
Okay,
by
the
the way,
hip-hop
you
part.
watch
The hip hop
you
part.
You
Yeah,
watched that.
I watched it.
You do. I don't watch.
I don't watch it, but I've watched the episode before. Listen, I actually had an opportunity. I probably
To be
could
on the show?
to work on it. To work.
Oh, I
on
thought
it.
you mean to be on the
Not
show.
to be on the show. I would have taken that opportunity.
To
What are you
be on
talking
the
about?
show?
Yeah.
You rather be on it than to work on it?
I mean, they're making more money.
Yeah, that's
I go
true.
where the money
you
goes.
probably get bigger bag if you was on in front of the camera.
If I'm working it, I ain't
Oh, you
gonna
had the
make that much
opportunity to
money.
work on it,
Huh?
In Atlanta?
I have a friend, in Atlanta too. They were I went to a rental house and they were telling me, "Hey, you should come out here."
I'm surprised you didn't jump on
get
it.
you on it. But also I have a friend who worked on it. A friend of a friend who worked on it. And with those you can just be like, "Hey, get me on."
Yeah.
So, but
day play.
But yeah. And anyways.
But yeah, man. But I think it's all a conspiracy. I think
Okay.
It's a conspiracy.
All right.
Sore loser.
No,
Crying.
listen. Come on, just tell it. Why can't y'all tell the truth? Why can't y'all tell the truth now? Why y'all got to be so dramatic and not tell the truth? Y'all can never tell the truth.
He said these things about me.
All right, bonus. We're hearing that Tory Lanez might have gotten stabbed. They're saying in prison. And nobody knows what's happening right now, but a lot of people are weirdly celebrating, which
he
is
got
weird.
stabbed?
Yeah, there's people. Yeah,
I thought they were screaming free Tory Lanez.
Yeah, I mean, his haters are. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, apparently he got stabbed. I'm trying to pull this up real quick. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Credible source.
We're running out of time.
All right, here we go. Tory Lanez attacked and imprisoned by fellow inmate. And he's hospitalized right now. So this might be a serious situation. This is from USA Today. Rapper Tory Lanez, who's behind bars for pew-pewing a fellow hip-hop star, Megan Thee Stallion, has been hospitalized after being attacked in prison. Lanez, 32, attacked by another inmate. around 7 a.m. May 12th. A spokesperson for California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation confirmed to USA Today. All right. What do you think about that? I mean, that's crazy, huh?
It's unfortunate, man. I mean, I don't know. I guess he don't get any special treatment. They don't put him like in he's in population. So I guess he's not getting any special treatment. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
But they didn't say even. I mean, I don't know, but it's even out on the streets. Tory was like a hardhead. He used to get in scuffles and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he probably.
Hey, I hope he's okay. I mean, right now he's hospitalized. They don't say anything about his condition. So hopefully he's all right.
So they'll probably put him in protection or something.
Yeah, hopefully they do something to help him out there. Yeah. Giannis, this is our last story. Giannis apparently is looking at other options other than the Milwaukee Bucks. What do you think about that?
I didn't know he wanted to leave the Milwaukee Bucks. Why you want to leave?
I don't know, man. I mean, they haven't won anything in the past like 3 or 4 years, and it seemed like they put together a little bit of a super team by bringing in the point guard, Damian Lillard. Yeah. So, but nothing's really happened. So,
because they got rid of Holiday and what that dude, Middleton.
Yeah, they got rid of Middleton. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right. Well, that's been the Black Summit.
I am Hendrix.
And I'm Brooks.
And we are out.
And we out. Peace.